What's up, and welcome into the Funshop Podcast with Greg and Ronnie. We are streaming to you live from Los Angeles, California. What's up, Greg? How you feeling today?
Yeah, feeling good, man. Our first show of 2026.
Happy New Year.
We broke 100 subscribers last year.
Broke 100 bones.
Broke 100 bones.
Yeah, we're over 100.
Yeah, and it's January 2026. Yeah, man, it's good. It stopped raining, which was nice. It was like raining for like a week straight.
I'm glad I missed that. I wasn't in town, so I brought the sunshine with me, I think, even though it wasn't too sunny.
I'm totally becoming LA, though, where it's like, I get it now why no one wants to leave their house, because it's like you're just not used to it. But it is kind of funny because, like, it wasn't raining that hard. And I remember I was in a shop and this lady walks in. She's like, "It's crazy out there."
And I'm like, cats and dogs.
It's barely raining. But yeah, man. So I guess, we have a special guest today. I'm really excited about this one. We got Jim Maley.
Jim Maley.
He's the owner. He's the owner of the All-American Toy Show coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
In Glendale.
Was that the 16th and 17th, I believe? Friday and Saturday.
Basically a week from Friday for our early buy-in.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
So that's going to be. I'm actually going to miss it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. I've like, as much as we've talked about this show, I will say I think this is the second. I've lived in LA now this is like my 11th year, and I think this will only be the second time that I've missed it.
Oh wow.
So I think I have a pretty good record.
Yeah, no one's keeping track.
No.
It's not a body count or anything.
Jim made me feel a little bad, as he should, because it is a great show, and we've,
that's because he loves you.
If you've listened to this, we've talked about it a lot, and I guess just I think last week we had the guys from Toy
Depot
Geeking
Out going on
this weekend, as well as the Arcadia show.
Oh wow, paper show. That's right.
Yeah, it's a busy month for shows, and actually, I don't know if you heard it, Jim, but the Geeking Out guys, they specifically made sure that their show wasn't the same weekend as yours this time.
That's right. I remember their first show, and I thought, what is this show in La Mirada the same weekend as my show? How dare they?
Yeah.
But then,
sorry,
I watched it. I look at all this stuff on YouTube. I saw the show. I go, wow, there's some good stuff there.
Yeah, it's good because, and we could talk about this a bit, but so I know that when one of the days at the market, we were talking about it, and I didn't realize this, but I guess two questions. Like, you weren't the original, you bought the show from the people who originally did it, correct?
Right. The show started originally back in like 1974.
Wow.
And it was run by, I can't remember the name of the guy that started it. I mean, those are ancient days. Mm-hmm. And a couple, not a couple, but two people teamed up to run that show after he kind of gave it up. He ran it a year or two, and Tawny Bruston and Jeff Duco, they ran that show basically from about 75 or 76 up until Jeff sold me his half of the show 13 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And so I ran the show with Tawny Bruston until, I guess this is my third January where it's just my wife and I producing the show.
Wow.
So she retired from the show, although she still comes and shops at it. But yeah, it's Linda and I that completely run the show. But it's crazy that you could think a toy show goes back to 1974.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't. I mean, what I'm I'm wondering what. I mean, I guess back then it was a lot of probably like old cast iron things and
cast iron tin toys. Wood. Yeah, they had rocks that they made together.
Probably also like things like, paddle cars. Probably
pedal cars, yeah, and advertising was really big back then. Our show is like the only show that really combines antique collectible advertising, which there's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
If you go to our show, you're not going to see like just the Geekin' Out show, which is a great show and great dealers, and some of those dealers do our show, and that's great. but it's a very eclectic mixture of vendors. We have paper dealers that just deal in paper. Terry Stroud did our show for a number of years, and he just said, "I'm too old to carry my stuff in the building." And I thought, okay, whatever.
Sounds like
Terry.
Yeah.
Half the time he didn't show up. Half the time when he did show up, he didn't set up. He just had piles of stuff, and he'd come back to his booth sometime like late Saturday or late Friday afternoon and finally start setting up.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
So, there could be anything at our show. That's kind of the intriguing part about it. You could be in line with a guy that collects, 60s and 70s toys, and next to him is somebody that collects, something, antique bottles.
Yeah.
Something 180.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really, it's a very eclectic mix.
And so what do you, how do you compare? Because I'm trying to think now, because I've definitely been to the shows since I've lived here, and I'm trying to remember if I had been to a show before that. But I guess what's different now in the past 13 years? Like, what's the biggest difference, do you think?
Well, 13 years ago, we didn't see, vendors like Kevin Rizzo or those guys. They just, people
Just wasn't the time yet.
People were buying and selling the Bullmark, Japanese stuff.
Right.
And it was very popular even 13, 15 years ago. But all of this stuff with the Shogun Warriors and all of that other Pachi and all that it didn't exist. Nobody was collecting like land sharks 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Nope. That was just unheard of. All the stuff that these kids are buying now, they're buying their childhood back, just like I did in the 80s when I started collecting. I was looking for stuff from the 60s because that was my, era of childhood.
Right.
And I remember, I thought, I kind of got started buying toys by, finding at thrift stores, lunch boxes and board games. Because you could go to any thrift store and buy a lunch box, and you never knew if it was going to be Get Smart or Star Trek,
Right.
And they were just on the shelves like $1.99. It was crazy what you could find back. And
Was this like the 80s?
yeah, in the 80s, I was in high school, and I would go over to a thrift store on my lunch hour, and look for stuff, and I could. It was just. It was not even worth collecting back then. It was so, but I collected it and filled my bedroom up at my, when I lived with my parents with this kind of stuff. And it was just neat. And then I started doing a couple of toy shows in the Bay Area, and it was like, they just looked at me, the people that, attended those shows, they looked at me like I was from Mars. Like, why do you have this stuff? And these guys are all selling, high-end robots and cast iron this and tin character toys from the 1930s, which is good stuff too. But, somebody selling a lunchbox, they had no,
Right. Because then, they were still selling lunchboxes.
Yeah.
Metal lunchboxes. So
sure.
It probably didn't even seem like.
Yeah, this is before the last of the metal lunchboxes was like Rambo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that hadn't even been made then when I was doing the Hayward Toy Show up in Hayward.
Yeah.
So
it is interesting because that. It's funny because I could say the same thing even when I was going to thrift stores in like the 90s, when I was in high school.
Yeah.
The things that I found then compared to like what, it was just, like you could just go in and, at the time when I was in high school, I was buying like vintage tees and things, and the stuff that I probably, I can't just imagine the stuff that I passed up. But, it's funny though, because kids still do the Goodwill bins. Like if you're on Instagram, it's like such a big thing.
Oh yeah,
especially the big bins,
especially with clothes. I mean, vintage clothes. That's a huge market.
But it's so funny because I was when I was on the highway the other day, there was a Goodwill van, and it had some ad on it. It said something like, check out our eBay for more SoCal treasures.
Yeah. Do you remember a few months ago they Goodwill set up at PCC? They had this huge corporate display. It was like Comic-Con, only it was Goodwill.
Really?
PCC, yeah.
And what were they selling?
I think they had just brought some curated stuff. They were, of course, they don't really know that market. And, I think they were barely even setting up when I left because it's just their employees and they're not motivated like you regular flea market vendors. They want to get their stuff out quick because guys like you are walking around and me.
Yeah.
Looking to buy stuff, and they were kind of dragging their feet and self-promoting, and I was just like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, it's crazy, like thinking now like that, because now it's like eBay is less of a threat. I almost think AI is becoming. I'm curious how collecting is going to go. I mean, it's still going to be similar, but it's just, now with AI. I mean, and I started seeing this months ago, maybe even a year ago, I was using AI for, helping me write descriptions. And, now it's to the point where, now granted, you have to still know what you're knowing for the most part, but like you could take a photo of something, you could put it into AI and it will give you so much information about it.
Okay.
And it will, and it will and it will give you like a suggested price based on whatever information that it can find.
Yeah, I haven't done that, but I've looked at the AI description writer on eBay, and it's
that's
awful.
horrible. It's horrible.
Awful. It couldn't be any worse.
Oh no, that they rolled that out, I think, way too early.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of absurd. I mean, it's the same. It's almost like that Siri still like can't do much more than like make a timer. You know what I mean? And
I have Grok in my car now, and it's I tried it yesterday. I thought, let me see how this goes, and I like, the voice came back, and it was this feminine voice, and I and it conversed with me.
Yeah,
sorry. What is Grok? Sorry,
Grok is the X AI.
And
you, okay. And is it?
It's an app.
Is it in a car or use it on your phone?
Well, Tesla, of course.
Tesla has it in there.
It has. They've on their last update. It's been installed.
Yeah,
it's called Grok.
It's called Grok.
GROK.
Which is weird because I said, "Grok, are you there?" And this like little petite voice came back, female voice, and she said, "Yes, I'm here," kind of like Siri does. And I said, can you? I said, "Oh, I didn't expect a voice like that." And she said back, what were you expecting?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're asking me questions. And then I asked for, do you have a recipe for a peppercorn cream sauce to go with a steak? And she said, basically there was a moment pause and she said, started going through a recipe. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
This is while I'm driving.
Yeah. I'm not trying to give away all my secrets, but it doesn't matter because everyone's finding out. But, I've been, one thing that I've always been into buying and potentially selling are like old letters, like Civil War letters or World War II, and you're looking for content. Love letters, whatever. And, obviously, even though I'm old enough that I had to learn cursive in high school, it's hard to read that stuff.
It is.
But you can you can photograph it, and I use ChatGPT generally. You take photos of it, and it will transcribe the entire letter. I mean, it might get a couple little things wrong, but it's kind of insane what the research that you're able to do with that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a dealer, because there's like certain things like a letter. It's like I'm still on like these Facebook groups because I'm on all these different groups for like ephemera and I'm in a couple Civil War groups, and there's still guys that are like, I just spent weeks, translating these letters, and it's kind of just like it's almost like anything else. It's just kind of one of those, things that I'm just curious about moving forward with collectibles. Like what is it going to mean, or what is it going to do? Especially when it's one thing if you're, especially if you go to like someplace like a flea market or yard sale or someplace where,
I think ultimately, it's just a tool, people shouldn't lean too hard on it, use it half and half, like use it for general information and then still put in your own stuff describing, how maybe yours is different or,
well, that's the thing is you still have to like prompt it. You just got to teach it, because I definitely see people like in different eBay listings or Facebook listings. You can kind of see that they're starting to use AI, but it's like very obvious. They're like, this is a perfect item for a collector of, plush toys or crossover.
That's for the birds. I like the really creative stuff where the people like sell it like, you need this in your life. Like this is gonna make your life so much better. Like sell it. Tell me tell me why I want it. Why it's good.
I find half the eBay buyers don't even look at descriptions anymore. They buy based on photos.
Yeah.
True.
Except if they get something that's obviously in the photo, but they get it and they didn't notice it, they'll say, "Well, you didn't write it down." And it's like, we have to write every little like thing that it's like, no, we all have really good phones now in our pocket and we can take very clear photos and there's no difference really. Or it's like, I don't know. I could go on an eBay rant for.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Do you sell on eBay?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Especially my wife, because she buys and sells dolls. And the doll market is not good at shows. I mean, it can be okay. There's specific doll shows.
Like doll shows.
And she sets up her vintage Barbie selection at the Glendale show.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that mostly her dolls in the corner there?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
So that appeals to a little bit younger market, but a lot of the old doll collectors that we used to deal with like 20 years ago, they've stopped collecting. They've died. They've been institutionalized.
Yeah.
We're buying their collections are coming on the market. It's like stuff. The antique doll business. Prices have crashed because there's nobody behind them that's collecting Shirley Temple dolls.
Right.
The market is not what it was.
Well, then you have things like Labubu's.
Yeah, well, that's
which totally changes.
That's a Beanie Baby.
That's a Beanie Baby.
Yeah,
but
that'll be done before you hit your next Panda Express.
Yeah, dolls are tough, right? Because even if you, like, obviously I deal in a lot of I buy a lot of old photos, and it's like, you all, and I'm just thinking about this now. It's like how many photos when you see a photo of a little kid, from, the turn of the century up through the 50s. It's like even farther up, you always see a little kid with a doll.
Right.
And I just feel like that is not, there's so much other stuff now. And now because like gender is, maybe not everywhere, but because it is so fluid in the sense that like, even if people aren't saying like, if like a girl wants to not play with dolls, a lot of more of the modern, I think parents would be like, oh, that's okay. You don't have to play with dolls.
Right.
Right. So I think maybe that is one of that kind of sets the tone a little bit too, is just maybe less doll people.
I'll tell you what though, there is, just because I am in the 1/6, doll market. There's like grown people collecting like these Fison and 1/6 silicone style. It's a whole nother thing that's evolved into. And that all spawned from that. So I think it's just part of the evolution, and the types of people that are buying it.
Well, there is a young market
interested.
for dolls, but they're not buying 100-year-old German bisque dolls.
Right.
They're buying My Little Pony. They're buying Strawberry Shortcake. They're buying, all these
more 80s.
Is it Monster High kind of still popular?
Oh, Monster High
is very
Monster
popular.
High's red hot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that because it's a Mattel product. I believe it's a Mattel product. And
I think you're right.
It's really, really popular.
And they've been doing that for at least 8 years.
Yeah,
10
there's
years,
already
like
like
that.
knockoffs of Monster High. You could collect the this is a good time to buy the Monster High Pachi.
Right. Yeah. It's funny. When did you start noticing like all the kind of Pachi and like knockoff stuff becoming more popular?
The first time I was ever aware of it, I went to some little flea market up in Sacramento. And this is how long ago this was. And I bought a small quantity of mint and package Hot Wheels from the 60s because they were like, $4 or $5 a piece. Which is, that's about, they were worth maybe $10 then. But then it was kind of like there was like this little toy store that had, newer stuff, and it was kind of Latino oriented. And they had this little rack of these Rambo dolls with this in a bag with a header card. And I go, oh my God, this is such a great likeness of Stallone. It just was cool. And Rambo, started as a B movie. It didn't play in any of the major theaters. It played in the discount theaters when it started. So I bought like the guy had like 5 or 6 of them, and they were like $3 each. I bought them all, and I took them around to shows and I sold them. And I wish I had one back because it was complete at the time, complete copyright infringement.
Right.
The header card was like taken right off the movie poster. The sculpt was great. I don't know who did it. Some probably Mexican, artist sculpted it, and they were basically little blow molds. Painted well. They were great. And I thought, wow. And I always remember that as, and then people started going to Mexico City shortly after that and buying, they had, somebody brought back a bunch of these like Universal Monster Creature from the Black Lagoon, little blow mold dolls, and they're really cool. And you used to see them around. Now you don't even see those.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's really
real quick. I'm not familiar with the term Pachi. Is that Mexican or Spanish?
It's Japanese.
Japanese for like before the bootleg.
Like bootleg, yeah.
Okay.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar, so maybe some of the listeners would.
Yeah, the Japanese. It's like Japanese for for like
bootleg.
Knockoff.
Yeah.
You think that's where the that cool bar in Las Vegas got the name, the Pachi? You think it's from that too, maybe?
I don't know the exact definition. I mean, you can look up Pachi,
I'll look it
but I
later.
know
Yeah,
that's
it
what they
doesn't
call
matter.
it in
Just
Japan.
reminded me.
All the
that's
Japanese
great.
Pachi made in China.
Some of it's made in Japan. I mean, there's actually this really, I haven't been in Japan now in like 2 years, but for over 10 years straight, I was going at least twice a year, sometimes like 4 or 5 times,
Must
just
be
depending.
nice.
Yeah, well, it was. But there's a store called Drode. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
No.
It's this really tiny store. It's probably about as big as this office. And, the thing that I liked about it was, I started going there. So the guy who owns it, he started going around the country to like all these old like toy stores that were like closed down and stuff. And that, but like, the people had already gone through to a lot of them over the years, and they already pulled the like Batman toys and crazy robots and stuff.
Right.
But he started going around and he started buying all the like bootleg stuff, or the stuff that was on the cards where you would like take one off of it. It was like Mazinger or like some thing. And so he started buying that stuff, and it was funny because it was like the only place in Japan you could start buying, you could find that stuff. And then now it's, I've been like, I can't even believe some of the prices for things, even things that I was like, bought maybe, 8 years ago. And, people are like, oh, that's worth thousands of dollars, which is just crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It is crazy. And, I've been in the toy business as a collector and a dealer so long that, I used to wait for KB Toys or whatever to discount their Star Wars figures.
Right.
And, and then I realized, okay, I'm going to wait till they hit like 49 cents and I'm going to buy them all. But then when that day comes, they're the worst Ewoks. They're just the worst figures. The cards are damaged. I could have bought all I wanted for
99
$2.99 or whatever they were, and and had every one of them. But I waited because I thought, I'm going to wait because there's so many figures. They'll clearance them eventually, and they did. Toys R Us never clearanced stuff.
Right.
No, it was like they never discounted. Just the stuff would just disappear off the shelves.
I thought the stuff from Toys R Us that wouldn't sell would go to KB or something.
I think it would go to like. I remember going to Savers thrift store and seeing a huge stack of Rancor beasts in the box.
Holy cow.
Wow.
And they were like $6 or something. I thought, no, they were only like $9 when they were new.
Right.
But, they were discounted. I bought a couple or whatever. But,
sure.
that stuff was, nobody was really.
Did you ever have, I remember in Florida once when I was younger, there was like some just random like discount store that I went with my mom with. This must have been, the mid 90s. And I remember going in there and there was just all this crazy toys. Like I remember buying like a Chips like gun set. Yeah. And like there was like Pee-wee toys and there was like Michael Jackson stickers. It was like 70s, 80s, and even into the 90s. Did you ever like see any of those type of weird?
Well, it was funny. I'll never forget. I was in Arizona, and there's this place called Lionel Discount Toy Centers or something, and they had
Sounds familiar.
It kind of looks like a Toys R Us, but it was like they were in Arizona, And maybe they were in New Mexico. I don't know, but there was 3 or 4 in the Phoenix area. And we walked in. I don't know why, because I'd always go in toy stores thinking, well, maybe there's some discounted thing. Well, they had this whole display of Migos that they were all, 70s Fantastic Four Migos.
Wow.
And then they had Hulk's. Hulk's the most common one that you see. I think I still have one, but they had the whole, they had the Thing, and they had all of the Fantastic Four in quantity that they had bought wholesale somewhere else that had been, in storage, and they put them out on the shelves. They were like $2.99 a piece. And I bought them all.
Bottom line, yeah.
And then I went to then I started going to the other ones in the area, and I ended up with like 40 or 50 of them, I think.
Wow.
At $3 a piece. And I thought, I'm going to get these back to LA, and I'm going to get $7.
Yeah.
That was the thing. There was no money to be really made, but you just thought, I'm getting over on the system.
Yeah, as long as you're growing it.
Because you have to realize this is in the early 90s, there wasn't all this licensing of stuff. When you saw something cool, a Marvel, the Marvel Migos were already collectible, and here they are on the card in this store, that you could buy, you can buy them all or buy one, and it was like there were no other Marvel toys for sale. Yeah. It wasn't the licensing bonanza,
right?
Like we've had the last 10 years, where the stores are full of stuff that's cool and
collectible looking.
For the license. Yeah, and it's the stuff that's cool and collectible looking that is usually not worth anything.
Yeah.
Do you have like any, couple things. Do you have any favorite personal finds from your show?
Yeah, I want to know his focus too, like what the focus of his collection is.
What kind of stuff are you collecting now? Are you mostly buying to resell?
Well, I mean, one time at the show, before I was a vendor, but I bought a huge candy bar wrapper collection.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was all like, there was a letter in there finally going through all these, and there's literally over 1,000. It turned out that there was a letter that this young woman, maybe a little girl, had sent to all these candy companies asking for samples of their wrappers.
Wow.
And they sent them back. And so a lot of the wrappers that
were like mint.
They were mint. They were perfect. And there were just, hundreds of them. Because some of the candy companies would send just a whole slug of them, like 10 or 15, and so she'd have all these, and she put them into scrapbooks, but then she had all these duplicates apparently. And another dealer out of South Pasadena had bought them. I don't know how he got them. It was Gary Frederick that used to be up on the stage, who always found fantastically interesting things.
Was he the one that had the collections, or because I know Wayne always has interesting stuff, but then I feel like there was always like
it was his dad Gary that
so his dad was the one who would have all these like crazy collections.
Yeah, he loved to collect stuff, and then he'd unleash it at the Glendale show.
Oh, that's so interesting.
And so I bought this huge candy bar wrapper collection, which was fascinating. It was like, I don't know, $400 or $500, and it was like whatever, 25 cents a wrapper or less.
Right, yeah.
And, I still have, I've sold many of them off over the years, but I still have a bunch of them and look at them. And, there's like the first.
Do you still have the scrapbook?
Oh, yeah, I have the scrapbook. Because her first scrapbook, there was a lot of used candy bar wrappers in there. So they're crinkled and, they're taped in or they're glued in. So,
right.
And as she progressed, she started, getting, mint candy bar wrappers, and
so cool.
I think she had already filled up 2 scrapbooks by then, and they just kind of piled up.
That's a super cool collection.
Yeah, that was just one thing, but I bought so many great things there. I mean, it used to be for me before I started running the show. I mean, I was just insane the amount of stuff you could buy, and just unbelievable things. Because dealers came, I have old floor plans from the late 90s and the early 2000s, and dealers from all over the country came to that show. They drive out with loads of stuff from the East Coast or the Midwest or Texas. And we still do have some out-of-state dealers that do the show, but before it was just like a who's who of the biggest dealers, in the country.
Right.
So the economics now, with the cost of travel, the cost of hotel rooms, it makes it much tougher for dealers to justify a trip across the country. But that said, we still have Mike Carberg's coming from the Chicago area. We've got like 4 people coming out from the Northwest.
Oh, wow.
They realize it's a show where you can really make some money if you have the right stuff.
I mean, that's the thing is I think that's one of the things about your show that's great is, I mean, I think I set up there once and I did really well. I think everybody that sets up there, I've never heard anybody not doing well there.
Well, there are people that don't.
I'm sure there are, but
and there are people like, I didn't have a very good show, and I can look at their table and I go, well, I know why. You don't have anything.
Yeah.
And what you do have is too expensive.
Right.
And it's just, you can price yourself out of the market, or you can just not make the effort and not have, if you're just a regular Rose Bowl seller and you think you're going to bring the same stuff, it's not going to work. Yeah, you'll sell a few things, you'll sell a bit, but the people make money at our show. They set stuff back. They go, I want to bring this to Glendale.
Right.
It's almost a little bit of an ego thing too.
Right.
I want to have this at Glendale.
Oh yeah. No, I remember coming and seeing like some crazy, like, what was that? Or like that one time, I don't know what it was from, but it was like that giant UFO display.
With the little space.
With the little space guy.
Yeah. That's what was that? That's a Burgermeister beer display.
Yeah, that was
it's
crazy.
Got a saucer on it. Yeah, and that was like probably.
And then I think like maybe a year or so ago, I remember somebody and I think Jeff brought it, I believe, or I don't know who bought it, but he had some like I remember there was like someone had like a bunch of crazy diving equipment, like an old like diving. Helmet. Yeah, and like a tank.
Yeah,
and it all the kind with the tubes.
That's crazy stuff.
Yeah, like the ones like you see like
with the tubes,
with the tubes, like you'd see them like in the
helmet.
The helmet.
Yeah, those are old. That's what they used, and you see a lot of those like on if you see one on a television show in the background as a decorator thing, there's a lot of reproductions, but the real ones, some of the real ones are stamped U.S. Navy because the Navy used a lot of those. They're worth a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's the Men of Honor. Men of Honor, is that what it is? Cuba Gooding Jr.
The movie. Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Idea.
No.
Everything's got to go to a movie.
Yeah.
And that guy sold all that stuff.
Wow.
He sold it, a lot of it to a dealer that came out from, I think he's from Connecticut. Keith Spurgeon comes to the show, and he travels out from the East Coast, and he brings a bunch of good stuff. But he saw this stuff. He goes, I can sell all this in New England, and he bought it all.
Yeah, I remember that because I think Bob had mentioned it to me, and then I was like, oh man, I was like that. I wouldn't have been for me, but I would have liked to have seen it. And then I noticed I think the guy who had bought it was like right inside. And so I at least got to see it. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is what it is, but I mean, that's the thing I love about the show. And I've talked about it so much is over the years, I've just found the best stuff. And like you said, I don't know. I don't know how, one thing I've also, it brings an interesting point when you think about this. When you set up now, like, cause I know I see you at the flea market and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like you do this, and I feel like it's almost kind of, maybe not for everybody, but I feel like the best way almost to sell at a lot of these events, whether it's a flea market or a toy show, is you have to be affordable.
Right.
And I think that way you can sell more where, like you said, there's people that, at the show, at your show in particular, but just shows in general where you look at the price and, and it's like $5,000, $7,000, $10,000. And not to say that people aren't coming and spending that, but I just think like the people that are going to come through, you're going to be hard pressed to find the people that come in and spend like thousands and thousands of dollars in a clip.
Well, that's kind of an interesting thing about Glendale is, I mean, it's always been a show where you don't know who's going to show up.
Right.
And nowadays you don't. I mean, I don't even recognize celebrities anymore because there's so many of them. I mean, there's so many cable shows. We had this. I can't remember his name now. He set up with us, and everybody goes, "Oh, that's the guy that plays the evil Nazi on what show was that?" Was a
evil Nazi.
Yeah, there was a guy like
They're all evil.
yeah,
so-
they're all. That's right. Anyway,
Maybe it was,
and he was a vendor at our show, and I got Hans something. Oh,
No
I can't-
way. Hans Gruber? No, not Hans. That's Die Hard.
That's the fake Die Hard guy.
That would be great.
Oh man.
Alan
So we have, but coming through the door, you just never know. I mean, in the
It's
old,
true.
It wasn't the Hans Landa, the Christoph Waltz, was it?
it wasn't
I think it was-
Christoph
oh,
Waltz.
okay.
No, I
That's
would have
the
been
other
like out
Hans.
of my
Okay.
mind if Christoph Waltz showed up.
Okay.
But in the old days, when I was a vendor at the show, and it was not that long ago. I mean, my space was kind of in that back room where the lunch area is.
Sure.
And this woman walked into the back room, and she was like 6 foot tall. I'm like, oh my God, like a supermodel. That looks like some kind of a supermodel. And I don't follow. I'm not like Ronnie. I'm not following the supermodels. I don't know who they are. But 2 steps behind her, as I was marveling at this young woman, Leonardo DiCaprio walked in.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay. That's why, that was, I think that was Heidi Klum he was dating.
Was he dating?
He was dating one of the major supermodels,
could see
and that's
that.
who it was.
Yeah,
That must have been early on then.
Yeah, because I
It
remember.
was in the 90s.
Yeah, because he.
late
I could
90s.
see that happen.
Yeah, because he was a big. I don't know if he's still a big collector, but he was, right?
He did collect a lot of Star Wars stuff. and
Yeah.
He was buying all the carded figures. In fact, one of our dealers that's doing the show, Mark Huckabone, do you know him?
I don't think
Is he
so.
from San Diego?
No. Well, he does he does Comic-Con. But he lives in LA and Chicago, and he's all over the place.
Okay.
He sold DiCaprio. He's one of those guys that when somebody finds out about him, he will source the material until they get everything they want.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of those guys that does that. Anyway, he's going to do our show again.
Cool.
And he's kind of funny to talk to. But yeah, there was I met Michael Jackson at this show.
What?
Michael Jackson went to the show.
Oh
once?
gosh, yeah, many times.
All right. Tell us about
Really?
Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
please.
tell us the Michael Jackson story.
He came there and he always showed up in a disguise.
Really?
He'd have like this, crazy chic costume. He'd have, when people. This is way before COVID, and he'd be wearing like a chic mask. Like, oh, we're not going to recognize you, and a hat, and and the only story I have from there, I met him another time too at Off the Wall on Melrose.
Right.
But I remember he walked by our booth. I had a table on the stage back then, and my wife Linda was, she was like, oh, Michael Jackson, and he walked past, and he was. He dropped a piece of paper. He pulled a piece of paper. It was something out of his pocket and didn't notice. And so Linda went up to him and they said, oh, excuse me, you dropped this. And he said, oh, thank you.
Love it.
And, but I met Michael Jackson later, many years later, at this collector's store on Melrose. And I remember when I came face to face with him, it was like a shock. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he is so white. He's as white as Ronnie.
I mean, seeing that he was a very black man as a
and his nose was like the rudder of an airplane. I mean, it was thin and small, and he had like bleached his skin through whatever process they did. I mean, it was so strange. And
that's always the sad part of fame, right? Is when you just see, 'cause you can't even imagine at what point, you get to that point where you're just essentially disfiguring yourself,
right?
To sort of, look some sort of way in your head that you feel like people are going to look at you and be like, oh, he looks great,
and as people age, their eccentricities accelerate, and we've all seen people that we knew 30 years ago, and now they're older and odder, and
That's me.
Yeah, well, that's all of
Older
it.
and
According to our wives, it's all of
You
it.
speak for yourself.
Yeah. What about like any other crazy stories? Have you had like has there ever been any like crazy, like somebody stole something and there was a big brawl or?
No, there's never been. It's funny. We caught a couple shoplifters, and I just throw them out of the show. But things. It's crazy because we've had so many like natural disasters almost cancel the show, and then they hadn't. I mean, we had the Gulf War broke out like 5 or 6 days before we were bombing Baghdad, and then at the same time thinking, oh shit, how's the show gonna go?
Right.
And this is before I was an owner. I was just a vendor, but it was Glendale was the highlight. Those two shows, the highlight of my year.
Yeah.
Was going down. I lived in the Bay Area then. I'd be going down to Glendale, and then the Gulf War breaks out. We're bombing Baghdad, and I'm like, oh shit. What about the show? Then years, I don't know, 5, 6 years go by later, and I turn on the TV on a like Monday or Tuesday morning, and there had the Northridge earthquake, and it was it was like 4 days before the show, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is the show going to be canceled? Nope. It's just never been. And then last year with the fires.
Right. Yeah.
And we lost 10 dealers the week of the fire.
When was your show? Yeah, it must have been the same time. Because I remember it was the same thing. Because I remember like I had done the Arcadia show.
Right.
Like right after.
Yeah.
It was right before your show. And yeah, I remember just the vibe. I mean, it went on, but the vibe is just always.
Yeah, I went to the arcade. I went to that show. I guess I saw you there.
Yeah,
I was there too.
But I wasn't sure till I got to the parking lot of that show whether it was going to be going on.
Right.
And then, we were on kind of just on hold. I kept promoting the show as it was going to happen, but I didn't really know if it was because one of the state, not I want to say militia. It's not the militia. It's the
like the National Guard.
National Guard had requisitioned the Glendale property if they needed it, but they hadn't shown up, and they had just put a hold on the property because they might have needed to stage trucks and have a camp set up a camp for the for the National Guard. Anyway, they didn't release the hold on the building till like the Monday before our show. And so I was like, stressful. I was really, it was very stressful because I thought if I have to cancel the show at the last minute, people are already on their way from the East Coast, but I played it off like it was going to happen, and it did. So we were very lucky. And, I got criticized, for online for running a show. I mean, I get criticized all the time, especially on social media for, how can you have a show when, we've got these disasters are happening and it's, this is really insensitive and, it's just, you just have to, I commented and said, it's an outlet for people and if we're allowed to use the facility, we're going to have a show. But people are, they want to put their 2 cents in and become,
Yeah. I mean, it's inevitable that, something like that happens. It's just, like you said, I mean, it's kind of like, it's hard, but it's like the show must go on, right?
It's true. And I had like 10 cancellations, and it's funny because most of the cancellations were from older dealers, seniors. Right. They're like, oh, I've just heard LA's a mess. I'm not going to be able to come down. Right. Like, oh, gee, thanks for supporting me in my hour of need. And they were all like these people that would just sit home and watch, Fox News, and like thought LA was burning.
Oh yeah, no, I had a friend in Canada that's become a stand-up comic, and I was like, when are you coming to LA? And he was like, oh, I was supposed to come to LA when there was all the protests downtown, the ICE protests, and he was gonna be at like the in Hollywood at the Comedy Club or one of those places, and I was like, he's like, yeah, I just thought it would be too crazy to come to LA, and I'm like, dude, it's it's like one, it's not really good. It's like at the Federal Building downtown, and like that's it, and maybe like surrounding area, but like the majority of people like it's not even a thing here. It's just like if you're watching the news, you see it, but generally it's not like
if you watch the news, they lead you to believe that the LA is burning, and people are rioting in the streets.
Same thing when I went to Portland in October. Everyone was like, "Oh, be careful."
Oh, right. I remember that.
And all that.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, it's nothing like that.
Right.
It's just like news just blows everything, echo chamber.
Exactly. That the media is to blame for most of our issues.
So I asked this to the guys last week. Like, what do you besides, I guess, like the Pachi stuff? What else in like the collectible toy world are you sort of seeing is the sort of hot?
Well,
stuff?
I can tell you the hot categories. It's stuff you might not be aware of, but there's a tremendous interest in vintage antique holiday decorations.
Okay.
So think, Christmas decorations, think Halloween especially.
Yeah.
Halloween is number one. It crosses a lot of lines. People that collect, monster stuff like Halloween stuff, and it can go, it can go from $5 to $5,000.
Yeah, I've noticed like in the past few years, like all those like blow molds that you would kind of see everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like people would go crazy over those now.
Yeah, so the holiday collectibles is really, really popular at, not just our show, but lots of shows out at Long Beach. I mean, there's people selling. I sold tons of like old Christmas ornaments over the holiday season, and around Halloween time, I bring out my vintage Halloween. But the Halloween stuff is so expensive compared to. It's just not. There's not the quantity of it out there that there is of Christmas stuff.
Right.
So that's one facet that's really hot. Of course, comic books and baseball cards,
Of course.
and trade cards in general are hot. Even though they've
like Victorian era trade cards, or
it can be,
80s
there
and
are
living
because of all these people going, oh, this is the Winston Churchill rookie card.
Okay,
right.
This is
exactly.
This is the Titanic rookie.
Right. Right.
It's like,
yeah.
I just love that stuff. It's just so
I have to
funny.
say, I'm guilty as charged for a few of those. I've definitely.
What's your craziest rookie card?
Damon Wayans.
That's a pretty good one. No, oddly enough, he did find there is a set that's kind of it's underrated. We might have talked about this, but he had bought a Living Color set, the card set at Long Beach, and there's Jim Carrey's first card.
Okay.
There's Jamie Foxx's first card.
Yeah.
Right.
And J-Lo.
Yeah.
Right.
Jennifer Lopez was a Fly Girl.
Yeah.
So that set in
great
particular
set.
has like a lot of, I guess essentially like
You better
A-list
get
those
those graded.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Got a bunch of doubles too. Yeah, of course.
I'm trying to think what I have. I'm eventually going to do like a post or something about it, but I kind of got obsessed with these the big league cards. I don't know if you saw those. They were like I think the guy's name was like Jim Thorpe. He was like a famous
football
player. And then he created no, maybe it wasn't Jim Thorpe. I'm thinking of a different name. Okay. I always say Jim Thorpe, but it's not Jim Thorpe. Anyways, he's the guy who created the Chew.
Big League Chew.
Big League Chew.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
So then he created a company called Big League Cards. And I don't know, like, I need to do the whole history, but I think it was like mid 80s up through the 90s where you could get your own trading card.
Right.
And so there's a couple like I have this weird one of Bill Clinton where Rob was that him? Rob Nelson? No, Jim Booten. Yankees pitcher Jim Booten.
Yeah.
Jim Booten. Okay.
So there's like there was a card where you could it was when Bill Clinton was running for president, and so they made a card of him, and you could like run with him to the White House. Like he was gonna do this event. There's another one that I have this one. It's like a Spanish set from the 80s. It's like a Spanish entertainment set, and there's a sticker card of, and I don't know what it was, but there's a sticker card. I think it's supposed to be of Alice Cooper, but it's like Jason, like holding Alice Cooper.
Oh.
And it's technically Jason's first rookie card.
Okay.
Because I think they never really made Friday the 13th cards. And by the time they did, it was like so much later.
Like a retro type
yeah.
thing.
It's just funny that the whole rookie card thing.
Oh, I know. That's
Forever it's been a term in the sports trade card, and then it,
Yeah, then
and we used to
became-
think, oh, okay, the Hitler cards from Horrors of War 1938
Yeah.
set, and those cards have always been collectible, the Hitler cards.
Yeah.
But we used to collect just the I collected any of those gory cards that, like, wow, this is really for kids,
Oh yeah, those Horrors of War cards are like I've always like those are always like the cards like I wish I could just like stumble into.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously a lot of cards, but those in particular, because I got lucky because I remember I wanted a lot of the native. I don't remember if it's Gowdy or that made like the Native American cards.
Yeah,
It's
probably Gowdy.
Gowdy was like 30s, and I remember once I got into like I got like a big stack of them, and I just they were in like decent condition, but yeah, finding any of that stuff is always fun.
Yeah,
but, you
just don't see it.
Yeah.
That
All right, so we got holiday collectibles, we got rookie cards. That
Yeah, well, and as far as hot categories, at the show, anything of higher quality is hot. I mean, we have, we have Morphe's auction, Bertoya auctions, and Milestone auctions attending the show. And those guys that run those auctions, they'll go through the show looking for those great killer pieces. And, I asked him what this happened a few years ago. Dan Morphy from Morphy Auctions bought something, and I go, where are you going to go with that? That's what that's worth. And he said, no, I'm going to throw it in the auction. If it sells, I'll make 35%. He goes, if I get a bid equal to what I pay, I make 30, I'll not 35 because part of it comes from he'll make 20%.
20%, yeah.
And I go, oh, so it's a no lose. And he goes, it's a high profile item. So any items of quality and high profile are hot.
Yeah.
Just something great. You go, wow. And this is what usually happens with dealers. They go, I didn't have that much great stuff. So I pulled a few things out of my collection, and those are the first things they sell.
Yeah.
And they price them to a price where they think nobody will buy this, so I'll get to take it home, and then they sell.
That was like, I think he priced it pretty well, but I feel like that was like couple of shows ago when Randy brought that, I can't remember what it's called, but that crazy Mark's toy, that giant like dragon or lizard or whatever.
Oh, right. Yes.
Remember that thing was crazy.
It was cool.
But I did notice that too. I remember there was a couple times where I saw some crazy pieces. Like there was a crazy animatronic, like an advertising animatronic that I was like this close. It was like $2,500, but it was like totally worth it.
Was that the Chungking? It was like a Asian guy with two cans on his hand, and it was a supermarket display.
No, but I would have loved that.
That was me bringing sodas to friends.
Yeah.
You actually got to see. It's funny. Well, we got to post it on the thing, but Ronnie, he's like, was it yesterday that you sent me the Pee Wee thing?
Oh yeah.
He got this really weird like Pee Wee thing off of the marketplace, and it's one of those kind of like, it's like the classic way to explain it, it's like one of those like chicken egg machines, right?
So, yeah.
What I found out was it was from an Etsy guy that would make custom displays and stuff like that, and he made this the Pee Wee Herman one you could throw in a quarter and
so he took like I guess they made like a Pee Wee puppet, like a Pee Wee ventriloquist doll, which I kind of remember.
Yeah, they did. It was
and so he took it and he turned it into like a little like in a machine where Ronnie said you
plays
put a quarter.
The Pee Wee song, plays tequila.
Like I feel like if you brought that to the All American show, that would sell.
That one is the new display piece at the Toy Depot in Whittier.
Yeah, no, I know you're not going to sell it, but
that one.
I mean,
that one's a very interesting conversation piece for sure.
No, but it's true. I mean, I think you have to sometimes, and I think a lot of people don't realize that even that a lot of times dealers will pay what it's worth or maybe just under what it's worth, just to have it as a piece in their catalog, their show, their whatever, because that attracts people in for
Yeah,
sure.
well, if you buy quality, you never get stuck with it.
Yeah.
It's buying the the lesser conditioned stuff, the common stuff.
Right.
That stuff can appreciate, but when you buy something of quality and you're careful about it, and you know what you're buying, and you have an opportunity to buy it away from an auction, where you're going to pay a percentage, or not on eBay per se, but you don't get stuck with that stuff. That stuff always has value.
It is, man. I remember, like, I don't know if it was how many times ago, but we were talking about our friend Kev, from Vintage Selection.
Uh-huh.
And he got one year, not that long ago, got a Mark's Yeti, like mint in the box for like nothing.
Wow.
Like $400 or something, $400 or $500. And, I mean, look, we could probably, I told you I found a John Wayne Gacy painting there once, which was like my craziest find.
I found a KFC Chinese ashtray. That's my favorite thing.
Oh, that was a pretty cool one.
Yeah, you never see fast food ashtrays, the ceramic, like KFC in China. Wow, that's great.
I remember I sort of regretted not. I remember one time there was that must have been what was Wayne's dad name again? Gary. I remember one year there was a collection of ice cream scoops.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I always thought that was like, oh man,
That's
that would have been a cool
eerie.
one to have.
John Wayne Gacy's ice cream scoop. Is that what it is?
No.
Okay.
It was just like
Jesus Christ.
it was like the evolution of like ice cream scoops,
Okay,
like all
okay.
these different ones.
Because he did an ice cream thing, right? Did he do an ice cream thing, or is he a clown?
He was a clown.
Okay.
And he owned a KFC franchise.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, bro.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. Look it up.
I want one of his ashtrays then.
yeah.
Can I say two things I love about the Glendale show?
What's that?
The first thing, I love how the people waiting to go in and vend are waiting with the people to go in to buy, and we all have to go in. I love that. It's like a running of the bulls type thing. It's like the buildup of anticipation.
That's true.
I
There
think
is.
I
I
think
do
it's
like
dope.
that. I do like that.
Well, if you've never been, some of these people, they're here and there. Some are in SoCal and some are elsewhere. It is crazy when we open.
Yeah, I love it.
It is absolute electricity.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
we let the vendors in. The show opening is officially 11 o'clock on Friday. So we do that so that if you live in Phoenix, you could get up at 4:30 or 5, and you could be in LA by 11 a.m.
Right.
Or Sacramento, or those guys. So you save some of these vendors a night in a hotel.
Right.
So
right.
it's a later opening. So we let the dealers roll in first, just because they all have carts and wagons and all kinds of contraptions to get their stuff in. We let that dealer line in first, then we let the early buyers in, and we charge a premium. And this is I always have to tell people this. On Friday, it's $50 to come in early, and that's because you could walk up on a toy that's $200 that's
Exactly.
worth $2,500.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're
Exactly.
a serious collector or dealer, it's well worth the money.
For sure.
Usually you'll make your money back, or you'll be pleased with your day. And,
I think so.
And it's a super, super social event too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you see the people, hey, there's, your friend from, I've never met you before, but, but I know we've corresponded. And
Exactly.
it's a very, it's a social event.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the first time, but speaking of Billy, we were talking about Billy Galaxy before the podcast. I think that's the first time, because him and I had conversed over email and stuff, but I don't know that
at
we had ever
Glendale.
met until the Glendale show,
That's
which was
nice.
cool.
Yeah, I was hoping he would come down, but he's traveling so much.
Yeah.
And he has his
He's
And,
going it seems like he's going to Japan a lot.
Yeah. Well, who wouldn't want to go to Japan, right?
Yeah.
Second thing that I love that I miss was the national anthem. Well,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that it was at
We have
noon.
to talk about this.
I was,
It's,
I was like, ever since my first time going, and Greg told me about it, I thought that was the coolest thing. How the shopping halts and we take a second for the national anthem and then we continue again. I'm a big supporter of that. I know some people don't like it, whatever, but
Yeah, but what's the
American to
story? Why
piss
did
people off.
why did you guys stop?
Well, it was this. Okay, the guy that did that, his name is Darren. We call him Big D.
Big
Yeah,
D.
Big D.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big,
yeah.
fat Big D. I
a
love Big D.
huge personality.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
Love Big
he's
D.
as full.
No,
of
I mean,
life.
I love. Yeah, he always has great stuff at
Shout him
Long
out at
Beach.
Long Beach,
and
yep.
yeah.
So there's other dealers there that are big personalities, and of course, there's all this. There's petty jealousy, and Big D, he's such a show off, and blah blah blah, and they, these guys talk it up like, oh, you shouldn't let him do that. And I'm like, no, as long as he wants to do it, I'll do it. Well, the word got back to him that, people were complaining. And I'm saying, you're welcome to do it. And he goes, no, I'm going to take a show or two off. So you never know.
It's cool that, people can recognize that, don't want to, stoke the flames or whatever. But I think this is America. And part of the beauty of America is being able to piss people off. You know what I mean?
Ronnie, you have a good voice. Maybe
you should do it.
I would want Big D to do it, because, it's the original thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to step on anyone's toes either, but I just think it's a beautiful thing.
Maybe you could do God Bless America.
I don't. Maybe I could be talked into anything. Yeah, but that's one thing that always stood out to me. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah,
I think
and
it's terrific.
there were other people that said, "Oh man, this room was buzzing," and then that just. I love the national anthem, but that just killed it. Why don't you have them do it at the beginning? And I'm like, at the beginning, you can't. We're too busy.
Too busy.
And then Big D's like, hey, I got to do it now because I'm hungry. I need to eat lunch, and I can't do it after I eat lunch.
I love it at noon, knowing that it's at noon. If everyone knows it's at noon, how could it stop the buzz?
That's true.
It's coming.
It's coming. Yeah.
Maybe,
it's time.
maybe we're gonna do it. Maybe that's.
I would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your turkey pesto sandwich.
Oh yeah.
Your vegan chili.
Chili.
We found out the chili's vegan.
Yes, we did. We got a confirmation.
So you got to have a bowl of vegan chili for me.
I'll do it for you.
What you
Greg.
really need to have is the carrot cake.
Okay,
They're famous for their carrot cake.
You have to have the carrot cake.
Coming.
I want to see a photo of the carrot cake, the chili, and the pesto sandwich.
It's guaranteed.
That icing on the carrot cake is like half an inch thick. It's thick.
There you go.
And Saturday,
I'm ready for it.
The chef makes like a coffee cake, crumb cake that's equally as delicious.
I have a couple things that I like about the show. Although I don't collect them, I love the pin idea. I always thought that was a cool idea, and I love that.
That's a tradition that just goes back.
Does that go back all the way?
It goes all the way back, but we kind of modernized it because they used the same illustration that it was an original illustration that the founder, her dad had done it years ago in the 70s.
Yeah.
So all they did was change the background of the color.
Yeah. But now it's like you put all different types of characters
and so
things.
This show, the theme is robots.
Oh, okay.
Oh, too bad you won't be there to get one.
I know, damn it.
And we even have a Metropolis robot because I think this is the 100-year anniversary.
Sexy.
Oh, is it 100 year?
I think it is.
Yeah, is it? Yeah.
What's Fritz Lang? Is that Fritz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it? Does that robot have a name?
Sexy C3PO.
Yeah, I don't. I should know it, but I don't.
Maybe one of our viewers will tell us. If Johnny Ryan's listening, he can probably tell us.
I don't know if Johnny's listening today.
But we had to come up with we do 5 pins usually. And there's the smoking robot, and there's Robbie the robot, and there's
Metropolis robot.
and we always have to have a female.
Ooh.
Because we do have a lot of women that come to the show. So we want to have a female offering. I go, well, I can't think of a female robot except, I can't even think of one.
Or what's the
other than the Metropolis?
What's the movie that was it called like Heartbeats?
Yeah, I don't know.
The one with what's his name?
You got me, dog.
Who's the guy? His like alter ego is Tony Clifton.
Andy.
Look up
Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman. Yeah, I believe there's like this 80s movie called like Heart. I think it's called Heart Beeps.
Oh, Heart Beeps.
Heart
yes,
Beeps.
Now I remember.
And I think there's a woman robot in that. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. The Metropolis robot is a
much
little more recognizable.
Yeah,
and still,
So
people
last time
won't know
I
what
listened
that
to you.
is.
No, they probably won't know what it is.
Yeah, they don't know anything older than, Ninja Turtles.
Right. Yeah.
No, they do. Our show does. It's Ninja Turtles and everything else.
Yeah. And sorry. And if you haven't been to the show, basically it's like a 1-inch badge or 1.5-inch badge.
Yeah.
That's basically button. Like your entry. And then, I'm sure people collect them. I just collect too much stuff.
Right. It's funny because I had a bunch of badges that there's always a few left over.
Sure.
Sometimes there's none left over, but I throw them out on the table for like a couple bucks a piece, and they sell. I was surprised.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, "Oh, I didn't get this one." You know, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh shoot, I should make more."
Yeah.
No, it's no, I think it's a good. I think I like the way you do it. It's almost like it's better almost if it's just.
Yeah.
You know, you just make enough. You might have some, you might not, and then
Yeah.
one day someone's gonna have the whole collection. And you're gonna be like, "Ooh,
We usually do 500 badges because Randy actually makes them. Randy Jones
Okay.
does the design.
okay.
He and I have a little conversation out at Long Beach. I go, "What do you think we should do?" You know, and he's like, "I don't know. What do you think?" And we go back and forth. Well, we did Jetsons or we did
Right,
Flintstones last time.
yeah,
I think we did we do Jetsons?
It was
or
Jetsons.
Flintstones?
Yeah,
Jetsons.
I got,
Jetsons.
And
Yeah.
we've done all these categories where, and I said, "Well, what about robots?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, that's a good idea."
yeah." Randy's a good. We have to have him on the pod
yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
He actually made right when the pod started. He made us like some like
flyers.
calling like flyers,
Yeah.
like calling cards, and I was
Yeah.
like, that was so cool.
Got to
of
get
him.
the tiki on the in the fun shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you have those, you should put them on our promotional table because people pick up all
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
There we go.
And you say, "Oh, podcasts,"
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's how
That's
word
how we-
spreads.
yeah.
I'll
We
bring
should
it.
have you guys do a live podcast from there.
Yeah, I think maybe when we're a little. Yeah, I mean, why not?
Oh, 100%. If we can get the technical stuff, yeah. 'cause
Yeah.
we gotta
Well, I
plug
think
the
this time,
internet
even
and
though I'm not
stuff,
going to be there, I
absolutely.
think Ronnie is going to, one thing that we have been talking about because we go out so much is, starting to record some of the events, interview some people.
Yeah.
We almost did it at Analog Outlaw, but it was a little too. You kind of pulled it out last minute, and it was already kind of
Yeah.
busy, and we weren't really sure.
It just wasn't the right flow. Yeah, we were busy selling and talking to people and
Yeah.
stuff. It's just, it needs to be kind of planned.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know, but we'll do what we can.
I don't know. It's a really like Instagram. It's a super easy platform because you can just go live. I don't
Right.
know how YouTube works on that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's like I don't know. I mean,
As long as we have Wi-Fi,
The-
internet, I can do
yeah,
it.
like we don't like the live
Or
thing for
Ethernet.
us. I think was more about, like it gave us like a consistent time. It's like,
Right.
okay, we're gonna do it Wednesday at 5, and it's gonna be live. And so if we're not there, we're not doing it. I mean,
Right.
even though we did do it last week on a Tuesday, but it was more just the discipline because as we're trying to build the podcast, it's like just like anything, it's like consistency is key. So
Right.
we just want to make sure that every week somebody could show up, and it's been cool. We've been getting more people, and I love the fact that anytime I see you at the flea market now, you'll. Yeah, so here's your chance. Like it's been a little over an hour, so we can kind of start wrapping it up. But what are all the things that we've gotten wrong?
I'm always like listening, going, God, because I listen to it later. I
Yeah.
don't listen to it live.
No.
boneheads.
I have it on in my workshop while I'm putting stuff together.
Sure.
But usually somebody will contact you through YouTube and give you the correct answer.
Right.
when you guys
Yeah,
are
yeah.
Trying to remember a movie or a show,
Right.
and I
The
go, oh,
Yeah.
that's. They should know that. That's Tony Curtis.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can't
yeah.
remember. You're stumbling around,
The
that's-
flex is to drop the correction in the comments with the time code. So it's like it's like
yeah.
there to show it's like, oh, where the mistake was, but I
Yeah,
don't
well,
know.
it's
That's what
not
I like to
necessarily
do.
mistakes. You guys are always searching for,
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
right answer.
The right
and
answer, yeah, yeah.
without having to, bring it up on the screen.
Yeah, I
you
think
know.
it's like as just like as older guys, we like to be like we want to know. Everyone could look it up. We just
Yeah.
want to know it.
Yeah, you want to be able to come up with Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
I'd
could
say
come up
so.
with that, but his alter ego,
Tony Clifton.
Yeah,
I remember
that's
that
a
one.
deeper
That's a
pull.
deeper cut. Yeah.
that's way deep.
All right, man. Well, do you have any other? It went by pretty quick.
Departing,
It did.
Departing
We should-
thoughts.
Let's keep going.
Let's do it again. I know.
I'll have to get in traffic now.
Yeah, I know. We could go. I mean, we
lie.
could go a couple more minutes if you had anything you wanted
I
to.
did want to say that anybody that hasn't, can't come or hasn't been, check it out on YouTube. Go to just look up the Glendale Toy Show. there's a lot of the younger people that tend to post. They do these walkthroughs of the show and show what's there and what it kind of looks like.
Yeah.
And you get the flavor. You get a good flavor. Of it.
We'll put the link in. Yeah, just send us like what link you want. We'll put it in.
It's already in there.
Oh
yeah, I got it. Set
and
up
then
already.
we should it'd be good is like we need to go on to because you have another show that you do there too.
We do the LA Vintage Rendezvous,
And
which is a
Rendezvous.
vintage clothing
the
show.
clothing.
Yeah,
right.
with Bob Chat.
Bob
So
Chat.
that could be I love that show too.
It's interesting, yeah.
I was happy I met John Waters there. Like
That
not
was
the last time, maybe
crazy.
the time before that.
You're
That was
so
cool.
lucky you came to that show.
I know. I was like
He was the nicest guy too.
yeah, he was totally nice and the only thing he said to me was that last time he took a picture with somebody got COVID. So I said, no, I don't have COVID.
Yeah, he wore a mask, as I recall, part of the show. But, when people ask for a photo with him, he'd pull the mask down and take a photo with you. And it was like, wow. It was very generous.
Yeah.
And, a lot of celebrities, I mean, if I see somebody I recognize, a lot of times I don't bother them. But that was when I go, I got to have a picture of this.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to believe
I'll
it.
just say, I'll say one more thing. I have a pretty funny, I don't know if I've ever told it on the podcast, I have a pretty funny celebrity sighting. I was at the Chinese consulate.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell this story?
No.
You probably remembered if I told the story about the Chinese consulate, right? So I don't know if you've ever gone to the Chinese consulate, but I used to have to go a lot when I would travel to China because they eventually had like a 10-year visa, but like for a while you could only get it for a year or for 2 years. So you'd have to go, and it was like you're kind of in China when you're going into these things,
Right.
And they always have like the protest outside. Was it like the Falun Daf? What are they called? Like the Falun Dafa?
Man, I forgot. Yeah,
They're like the
Fulan.
Yeah, they're like the Scientologists of China, and so you go out there and there's always like these like weird like it's like you'll see somebody in a cage like all bloody, and there's like a fake person like whipping them and stuff.
Wow.
So one time I'm in there, and I was bringing some artists to do this show, so I was with my friend Terry, who's from the UK. And we're just sitting there, and it's kind of one of those things where you're just like, oh, I can't wait to get out of here. And he's like, oh, there's the Joker. And I was like, what? And I look over, and it's Jack Nicholson, and it's like the meme. He's just going like he's just doing the
Wow.
and I was like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, this is like A-list. This is like, I'm like, I got it. So I was like, do you have anything where you could like, I was like, I need to try to get his autograph or something. So he had given me some paper that he had, and I was like, hi, Mr. Nicholson, can I have your autograph? And he goes, no, thank you. And I was like, okay, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, that happened. The Cramps used to come to the show.
Oh, nice.
And I remember meeting Lux Interior, and he was just, he was in a bad mood, or he was just like, oh. He wasn't obnoxious or anything, but, he did not want to be really bothered.
Yeah.
But then Poison Ivy was super nice, gracious, friendly, talkative, outgoing.
Yeah.
Lux was very, I was like, oh, I guess got shut down by Lux.
Yeah. It's, it's tough. That's, you never, you feel like even if sometimes you approach people in the right way, it's some, you just never know how you're going to get people. So.
Yeah. And they came in my booth. It was like, it's free reign. You come in my space.
Right.
And as a vendor, I have a
reason to talk.
A reason to say, hey, let me know if I can show you something, or hey, or hey, I enjoyed. I saw you at Bimbo's 2 months ago. It was a great show, and he's so it's.
That's
fun.
how I told it before, but was it the last show or the one before that? I had sold some stuff to Mark Mothersbaugh.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and I recognized
at Glendale.
At Glendale.
Oh, gosh.
No, not at Glendale. At
Arcadia.
Arcadia.
Really?
Yeah,
paper
and
show.
it worked because the night before that, Ronnie and I had gone to this Guar exhibit, and we had seen him there, and he was there. He was kind of like, he was definitely like everyone knew who he was.
Right.
And then I saw him. I saw him at
Arcadia.
Arcadia, and I I was like able to approach him, and I was like, "Oh, hey, man, I saw you at the Guar show, the Guar thing last night." So it was like an easy segue to be like, I'm not a total weirdo. And then I brought him to my booth. Just a half a weirdo, yeah. And then I brought him to my booth, and he actually bought something from me, which I thought was cool because, you know, he does a lot of art with old photos and things. So, and it was funny because I knew one thing that I had brought, and I was like, you know, I think I have one thing. And it was totally him. It was these stereo views of this like kind of like, I don't know if she was nude, but it was like definitely burlesque. Yeah. And they were from like probably the 20s, maybe the 30s, maybe the teens. I don't know. It was like in that area. But she was like holding this like the creepiest paper mache clown mask. Oh. So she was like this beautiful girl holding this like creepy clown mask. And he was like, yeah, I'll take those. I have to have them. So
I remember when I was a young vendor at the show, who was the guy that murdered his wife?
Phil Spector. No, not Phil Spector.
No, before that. Maybe not before that. The guy, Tony Blake.
Oh, okay.
He used to come to the show, and you know, it was not a big deal. But I like the first or second show I did there. I remember, and he was much more well known now. I mean, nobody. You have to be our age to know who Tony Blake is.
Yeah.
But he wanted to buy something from me, and he said, will you take a check? And I'm like, oh, if you have ID. And then he pulled down his glasses and stared at me, like gave me this. I mean, he was kind of a badass. I mean, it's totally in character that he may or may not have killed his wife.
Right.
And he pulled down his glasses and he gave me this look. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know you. That freaking Beretta. Yeah. Where's the cockatoo? Don't do the crime if you don't have the time. Remember that?
Nope. Oh, yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah,
that's my God. That's esoteric.
That's a little esoteric.
Oh, geez.
Well,
okay, we're half weirdos for sure.
Yeah. Well, Jim, that was awesome. We got to do it again.
Yeah.
Maybe we'd do a duo with you and Bob one time or something.
Yeah, if we can get Bob.
Bob's tough.
He's tough, but
But you know, like actually this is, you know, maybe this is something we could talk about and we'll wrap it up. But you know, what could be really cool is if we did set up at like the All American show.
Yeah.
And then you like we just like did interviews throughout the day.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool.
And then it wouldn't even have to be live. We could just edit it down.
Yeah.
And then so it's like, you know, we could get a lot of the old timers or people that wouldn't necessarily be able to make it out here, you know, or might not know us. And that might be actually pretty cool is if we could get a little setup and then, you know, you could bring people to us and, you know, like the other actor you were talking about, I can't recall.
Oh, Dan Roebuck.
Like, yeah, like if he was there, it might be like, hey man, will you sit down with these guys for like 15 minutes or something? And, you know, we could talk about like, oh, what are you buying? What are you doing? Like,
does this show have an Instagram page?
Yeah.
Funshop Podcast.
Funshop Podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
Follow us.
I follow you, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I must not know.
Follow the Funshop Podcast.
Yeah, I tagged you in a bunch of stuff just before, so just check it.
Okay, so we can do some lives.
Yeah,
Ronnie
we'll
and
figure it out.
Yeah, you guys should definitely try it out. Do some lives or do some little interviews, and then maybe like the summer show or spring. Or I guess it would be spring, right? Or is it summer?
The August show.
August, so kind of
January and August.
So kind of summery.
Yeah.
Fall.
And so the big news for people that go to Portland, or if we have any Portland people like Billy Galaxy and Ronnie now, as we made a deal to buy the Portland Expo show.
Oh,
and that's a general line kind of antique show, but people like Billy sets up there.
When is that show?
Andy
usually?
Caro sets up there. Andy's one of our dealers from Seattle.
When is that? Yeah, when is that?
That will be in July.
Okay.
So this July will be the first.
The first one. Yeah.
And is this like a breaking news? Is this the first place?
No, it's been talked about, but you know, it's not really a toy show. There are toys there. It's kind of an old school general line.
I love
that show's been going for like forever. Yeah. I've been going to it for 20 years. There's so much. Don't
worry. In a couple of years, it's all going to be Ninja Turtles, Transformers, and Pachi.
Right.
Like, should I go up to vend or just go up to buy? You know, like maybe you should set up.
Yeah, you should. And that'd be cool.
You should come too.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Take a little 15
show
hour
in Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
something to
fun.
think about.
Vegan pizza. It's all good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm like that.
Billy will show you.
So yeah, All American Toy Show week from this Friday.
Yep.
Right.
January 16th and 17th.
January
in
16th,
Glendale.
17th.
But before we close, now this is the one thing that's funny that always happens.
Oh yeah.
Friday when we do our early buy-in, it's a $50 badge. You get in and you get to shop as the dealers are setting up.
Right.
And a lot of people show up on Friday, and I always get one, sometimes two. They go, "I want my money back. This is crazy. Nobody set up." And I go,
Right.
"Well, I'll give you your money back, but the point is, you get to buy first.
Yeah.
You can
Right.
come back tomorrow. I'm happy to have you come back, but if you stay now, you'll get the first chance to buy this stuff as people are pulling it out of the boxes, putting it on the shelves,
Yeah.
putting it in display cases, and that's worth the price
Yeah,
of admission."
I always like my thing is I'm always, when I go, I'm always there on Friday, and then if I usually try to like carve out at least I'll try, if not, but like I'll try to carve out at least an hour on Saturday just to come and like see it all set up, because it is a different show from Friday to Saturday, because Saturday is like, it's everything is there and good. And
In closing, I have to say, I always tell people, come back on Saturday if you can. Saturday
I
morning.
find stuff Saturday.
These
Yeah, you
people,
gotta go both
they
days.
get in line. The dealers get in at 9 a.m. The public comes in back in at 10. They bring in cartloads
Yeah.
of new material.
Right.
For the people that live close enough, they bring in all kinds of stuff for Saturday morning because they've sold so well on Friday.
Absolutely.
So the show is restocked. On Saturday.
Yeah,
in
so-
a
Bring
lot
your
of
money, boys and
cases.
girls.
So-
Bring your money.
Yes, and in these shows, just remember, everybody, a lot more people are taking Venmo and Zelle and
Yes.
PayPal, but cash is still king.
That's right.
At
We do
these
have an
shows.
ATM on site, but it's a good idea. A lot of dealers
Yeah, 'cause
like
it's-
cash.
Right, and there's an ATM on site, but just know that like there are no other it is a like. You have to, I think, even if you walk across streets to Chevron, they may or may not even have a.
They have an
it
ATM
doesn't
there
matter.
too, but
Yeah,
we
bring
have
your money. Bring your cash,
We have a
guys.
guy bring one.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have a guy.
Yeah.
Just bring your cash.
Bring your
guys.
bring your cash and
All right.
Bring cash if you
right, let's
can,
wrap it up.
but people, you'll make your best deal with cash.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
All right, Jim. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you, Jim.
being on the Fun Shop podcast, and that was awesome. I was excited for that, and yeah, we'll see everybody next week. We'll hopefully see you this weekend at
Geeking Out,
Geeking Out
La
and
Mirada.
Arcadia at the Masonic Lodge.
Show.
there.
That's right.
Be
I'm
there.
going.
Jim will be there.
Yep.
All right.
All right. So
Smash the like button.
Thank
Comment.
you guys so much.
Tell us what you like about the show.
Happy New Year.
Happy
we will
New Year.
catch you next week.
Moby gratis.
Wow, that was fun.